So,
Chris, your mic.
I'm sorry. .9 is unique. That there is a request coming from an elementary school for a artificial turf field. We have only installed artificial turf fields at our high schools.
And one middle school. So
We have only installed in our high schools, but Mr. Song, could you speak to the request that has come to us and just help give us a little context here?
Sure, Mr. Barclay. You're correct that this is the first time that elementary school has requested board's approval to raise funds to install artificial turf for the field conditions. And Somerset Elementary School, since it was revitalized and expanded in 2005, had many struggles to maintain grass field playing condition, mainly due to lack of available fields in that part of the county, and that further it has been constantly used without proper maintenance or times that grass field needs kind of off-season, if you will, to allow grass to grow. And this field is not a regulation field. This is very small field that probably has more bare spots than the grass. We have attempted over the years to provide new sod grass, but again, that did not last no more than a couple months, because without having a maintenance program, it's very difficult to maintain natural grass in our fields. So the foundation and PTA over the many years have considered this, but I think that there's a solid commitment now to proceed with the project. But if you note the memo, they're requesting this funds to raise over a 2-year period. So given that the estimated project is well over, I believe, $500,000 in that range, it's going to take some time for the PTA and foundation to raise that much funds. So given that this is, as the board members are well aware, the benefit that artificial turf brings will not only benefit the schools, the children in the schools, but also the community wide because of the lack of the playing fields in that part of the county.
Can I just say that last week the board met with the planning board, and I don't know if in our board comments if colleagues mentioned that. I know I did not, and I apologize for that. But in fact, before coming into the planning board's boardroom, I had a conversation with Mike Riley, because I'm a strong advocate of our turf fields and the need for high quality fields for young people to play on. And he said that they were having pretty good luck with Bermuda grass in fields. Is that an option that the folks here at Somerset have looked at? Or?
Well, you know, we actually had that experience at BCC High School, because the PTA had advocated when BCC was modernized that it be Bermuda grass. And there again, that field is so overutilized because the stadium field is field hockey, lacrosse, soccer, football. There is no other alternative. And it has, I mean, it did not stand up. I mean, it looked wonderful and was great in the beginning, in the very beginning. But it is a problem when you don't give fields any opportunity for rest, and that's the problem at Somerset. So I apologize for jumping in.
No. I say that because look, I'm an advocate for artificial turf fields. I think everybody knows that. So I just look at the alternatives, because if there are the options, knowing the pushback that we've had from some community members.
Club raised the additional funds because they wanted the Bermuda grass at BCC High School, you know, at the time. And the other thing is it also requires more expertise in maintaining it than our ordinary
maintenance for
Right.
facilities.
Local school capacity to
Right.
maintain.
So to answer your question, yes, I have explained the different types of options that are available, and not only cost more at the initial onset of installation for the Bermuda grass, but on an ongoing basis, it also maintenance cost is higher. But at the same token, the difference between the Department of Parks versus school is that Department of Parks is their primary mission, and they have authority to shut the field down to allow resting period, versus school does not. And that's why it's so difficult to maintain grass fields in our schools.
Ms. Mondrowski?
So I just want to thank you for your work on this with the community. I know it's been they've been working hard on trying to make all this happen. I want to just sort of kind of advocate for the fact that, you know, I will be supporting this, having met with the community, having seen the field, knowing the amount of struggles that they've worked through. But, you know, also I've tried, I believe we have assurances that we'll only be looking at organic material fields. Is that correct?
So the artificial
foam rubber.
turf, right? So artificial turf is an ongoing effort that we're looking at both interagency wide. And as far as the infill mixes that you're concerned about of not using the crumb rubber, that is the route that we're taking. However, I wanted to inform the board, and we'll probably better update the board at a later time in terms of the different types of infill mixes that are coming on as a new technology evolves.
Okay.
And the organic infill mix that everybody's talking about at the Lakelands Park has its own pluses and negatives. So we'll continually explore the best and latest technology in regards to the infill mix, and we'll inform at that time when it is installed, because again, even the PTA and foundation are able to raise the funds 2 years later. I'm certain that technology is going to evolve within that time as well. So it's hard for me to commit to certain type of infill mix at that time, but I think it is heading in that right direction.
Okay, thank you.
But the key is,
Because
it's
the key is
not
it
crumb
will
rubber.
not be
That's
crumb
correct.
rubber, and it will be as organic
correct.
as.
Assortment fat.
I also really appreciate that the field is not going to be crumb rubber.
Yes.
They're just going to emphasize that.
Yes. Right.
Very important. I really appreciate that. And I love that you're going to be keeping up with the latest technology and making those decisions based on the latest information. That's wonderful to hear. I'm also very appreciative of this private-public partnership. I think we're going to have to do a lot more of that because we just don't have the money. Academics comes first, and we're having enough money, trouble with that. And then with our capital campaign, with our capital budget, we are grossly underfunded for that, as everybody knows as well, for both our operating and our capital budget. But I would point out that we also have a lot of schools that are very high needs, that have overused fields, that have bare spots more than grass. I know one particular middle school where the school soccer team was out there, soccer team or track team was out there with bags of sand trying to fill up holes just to make it safe for them to be able to practice on. So if there's any way that we can look into the future on how we can create more of those partnerships for our higher needs schools so that they can have access to these kind of fields, I'd be very supportive of that and do whatever we can do to make that happen.
Ms. Hull?
So yeah, I actually did visit Somerset Elementary School, and the PTA did invite me out there, and I had a chance to talk to the principal, Mrs. Morris, and it seemed like there's a lot of community support around it. Everyone is very supportive of taking on this endeavor because raising $500,000 it's a lot of work, but I think everyone's very committed to making it work. And when I did check out the actual field, it was in pretty bad shape. I was completely shocked at, I guess, the sheer size of it, which it's very small. And then I stuck around for when the students were out for recess, and there just wasn't enough space since a lot of the grass was uneven and it was just unsafe for students to be there. And it was explained that the field was resodded multiple times, and it seems like nothing else is working. So I really think this, public-private partnership is a great way to solve some of these issues. And when I was there, the PTA expressed extreme interest in sharing some of their fundraising techniques, and I think that's great for some of our high-need schools who also have similar problems with their fields. And I think it's great that the PTAs will be able to work together, connect, and share, I guess, knowledge and resources of how to garner this kind of support and make it a reality and getting what they need for their schools. So.
Right.
Dr. Dawkins?
Just since you brought that up, and Ms. Howe brought it up also, they have already got an informal relationship with another school where they have given them funds that they were not able to raise for whatever thing they wanted to do. So they're very willing to do that, and we are looking at that.
So I'm going to move 7.9.
Second?
All those in favor? It's unanimous.